Melissa, and today we are going to be talking to a new author with an incredible book. I read it in 2 days. Her book is called Songlight, but before we start, I'm going to play a little clip about it. All right. Am I going to, let's see, Moira, did I say it correctly?
You did, yes.
Yes. Okay. So your book, Songlight, and we can just look at this cover again because it's a beautiful cover. This is not your first time writing. You've been a playwright and a screenwriter, but this is your first full-length novel, right?
This is the first time I've ever written anything in prose. Yeah, I have been a dramatist all my career so far. So yeah, it's
tell
a
us
real
a little
departure.
more.
Well, this story came to me, and I thought, oh, I mean, I think this story, I've wanted to write this story about these two telepathic girls probably for decades. Really, it's just been
Yeah.
kind of away there in the back of my mind somewhere. And of course, being a film writer, being a screenwriter primarily, I thought, well, that would make a really great film.
Yeah.
I began to write it as a film, and I couldn't. I couldn't even write the first scene because I just thought this. I knew it was set in the future. I knew it was
Yeah.
set in a world I would have to entirely create. And I
Yeah.
couldn't create it in the very, very distilled form that drama is. You just have
Right.
tiny scene directions and you have dialogue, and that's it. And I just thought, I need to know everything about this place. And
Yeah.
I can't do it as a
So
screenplay.
tell us a little bit
So
more about this place and about the characters.
the the novel is set 5 or 6,000 years it's set in the distant, quite far distant future.
Yeah.
And we, to the people of the future, are known as the light people, because we expended so much energy, we lit the whole planet up at night. The
Yeah.
population is far, far smaller in this particular iteration of the world than it is now, and there has been a kind of mass extinction event, the event that we all want to avoid. This indeed is the future that we don't want. And I think many, many, many novels set in the future are about the future that we don't want.
Right.
Um, so so this I opened my sort of story in this town, North Haven.
Yeah.
It's a coastal fishing town, and I think and there's a lot about North Haven that's quite familiar. It's small town. North, and people are still people. Some of them have evolved this kind of telepathic power, which in my society is kind of persecuted. But people are people, and I think there's enough familiar about the village to make the unfamiliarity of the rest of this future world kind of feel like a real place. That was my hope anyway. So yeah, I started it in a village, and the book just kind of we then go to the capital city to meet other characters, and the book just kind of grows and grows.
Yeah. And another thing that I really liked about your book is, so you have the telepathic people, but everyone's afraid of them because there's the brotherhood, who are supposed to be the big brothers that are taking care of us, but instead they're anyone that's a little different, whether they have the telepathic, which is the Songlight, right? Which
Yeah,
is the title of your book.
yeah,
They're really, they don't just say, oh, persecute them, be mean. Like, they kill them, they torture them, they do a number of things. And I found it really interesting too that I don't know if this is what you were going for, but I found some deeper meaning in your book because there was also thinking about it with like women were so persecuted. I mean, basically, their entire purpose of living was to do what the men wanted. Tell me a little bit more about how you came up with some of that or your thoughts on that.
This is, I think this is an idea from Margaret Atwood, who, when she wrote The Handmaid's Tale, said there is nothing in The Handmaid's Tale that isn't happening somewhere in the world. And I
Mhm.
say with this society in Songlight, um, there, this is a gender apartheid, you know, and our societies were like that. Not all of our
Mm.
societies were like that. Not so very long ago. You know,
Right.
we're not going very far back into the past. My
Mhm.
mum grew up in Ireland, and when
Mhm.
Ireland gained its independence from the UK, women lost 29 rights overnight.
Wow.
It's one of the things that people don't know about.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, it was great that Ireland got its independence. It was fantastic, but
Right.
women really lost out. And my mum grew up in a kind of gender apartheid where if a woman got pregnant, she got sent to a Magdalen laundry. And you
Um,
know, and my mum's choice, and this, it's not very long ago, was either marry a farmer or leave, or become a
mm,
nun. You know,
right.
you know, this is you know, um, so we've come a long way away from that, and I think we have a kind of freedoms now that we don't want to lose, and I think the drawing of this gender apartheid, where men have one society and women have another, and that men control entirely the society that women have.
Yeah.
I think it's just an exploration of that, to go, you know, lest we forget, let's hold on to what
Yeah.
we've got. Let's hold on to
Yeah.
what our mothers and grandmothers fought for, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and like Margaret Atwood, the brilliant Margaret Atwood, there is nothing in Songlight that isn't happening somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
I think apart from the telepathy, probably, but maybe
So
even
let's
that,
talk
you know.
about that. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the magic of Songlight. For those that haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, and they should, tell us a little bit more about the magic of Songlight.
Um, I think there's something very subversive about an idea that you can communicate with another person and no one else can hear what you're saying. Um, and I think that's why the society in my book finds it such a big threat. You know, um, my young characters kind of have a sort of hunger for companionship.
Yeah.
Um, and they find that in their very sort of rigid societal boundaries, if you like, through these relationships, these sort of interdicted relationships with each other.
Yeah.
There's also something about song, like this telepathy, that it just speaks to me of our creative spirit.
Mhm.
There's something, I think that we imagine ourselves as light. You know, when we paint the spirit, when artists paint it, they paint light.
Mm.
You know, we imagine this, and I also discovered that song comes from the part of our brain that's far older than language. And I just thought, well, maybe each of us have got an individual song, the way we have an individual fingerprint. And I just kind of loved all that. I just kind of loved all that. I think there's no kind of, there's more poetry than logic to it, but
Yeah.
I loved it all the same. And I kind of made that my kind of telepathic force, if you like. It's not a superpower. My
Yeah.
telepaths can't do magic, you know, but they can communicate. And I think the other thing about telepathy is, I think it does connect. It's our desire to connect with one another that it
Yeah.
really taps into. And
Yeah.
and weirdly, we sort of have that at the moment through our social media. And,
Mhm.
you know, like I look at my daughter connecting with her friends all day long, you know,
Yeah.
sending each other photographs, little remarks, chatting. You know, they're in each
Yeah.
other's worlds even when they're not. And it's just kind of trying to find a different imaginative way to have that kind of communication in a low tech world.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I loved your book. Now this is the beginning of a trilogy, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited for the second one, even though the first one just barely came out. Um, so get writing if you haven't already.
So yeah, no, I have. I finished the second book, and you know, I leave the first book on a bit of a cliffhanger. I leave the
Yes.
second book on an even bigger cliffhanger,
Oh,
and
okay.
this winter I'm embarking on the third book. But the
Great,
second book is done, and that
great.
will be coming out in about a year's time.
Okay.
Um, you know, and I think I think I'm not sure even about the title yet, but
That's
I
okay.
know.
We'll have to check back and learn more. So, thank you
Yeah.
so much for
But the world has so much story in it. That's I love being in this world. It's a
yeah, it
dark
does.
world,
It is.
but you think the thing is when you create a dark world, you can create really bright characters to people it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
the uh that's what I love about being in this world. Actually, it's my people. I just
Mhm.
love writing my people. I think they're great
Yeah,
to be with.
yeah. Well, I loved it. I hope our viewers definitely go and check it out. And, thank you so much for being here with us today, Moira.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, and thank you to our viewers.